Hey everyone, welcome to the video. My name's Tyler, I go by The Mengineer, and I'm here to help you engineer your life. Let's hop into it. So today's topic is going to be on work-life balance, and specifically I'm going to be talking about balancing shift work with everyday life. This is a pretty difficult thing that a lot of people encounter, where you're working off shift, you're not working a normal 9-to-5 job, and it makes it very difficult to balance both your social life, personal endeavors, along with that of work, because you're kind of on this opposite schedule of everyone else. For instance, I've been on a second shift schedule now for about the last month and a half. I've got about 3 more weeks to go, and it's definitely had an impact on my life. So I just want to be honest and straightforward with you guys, talk a little bit about how that has worked and what are some of the things that I have done in order to help balance that and maintain a healthy mental state, as well as balancing my personal and social life around that of second shift. For me, second shift is 2 to 11 p.m. So one of the biggest challenges that I've personally encountered is this is literally a opposite schedule from that of my fiance. She works first shift at a hospital, so she works 7 to 3:30, where I'm working 2 to 11 p.m. So she wakes up while I'm asleep and I get home when she's asleep. So how do I balance my relationship and prioritize that during a time where I'm literally not getting to see her? Well, one of the things that we personally found to be most effective is try to find those times that you can have together. So one of the things that we have been doing is meeting each other for lunches. I'll go drive to her place of work and then we'll have lunch together. If I'm unable to do that day, just due to the typical things that come up in everyday life, then she tries to meet me for dinner closer to my place of work. And it's not perfect, it's hard. It takes some time to get used to. You definitely don't get to be together as often as you would like, but it's trying to take advantage of all of those moments that you can have together, rather than just being like, well, we're on opposite schedules now, I guess it's going to be like this until shift work ends. If you prioritize your relationships, you can find those moments to really enjoy with one another, and then it makes those moments when you do have more time together, like the weekends, that much more special. So I highly recommend working to prioritize and determine times that you want to do things with the relationships that you really care about. The second piece of advice that I personally think is really important is try to maintain the routine and the schedule that you had. Obviously, that's going to shift a little bit in terms of when you do things, but for example, I'll talk about myself. I had the same morning routine and I have the same days of every week that I go and exercise. Just instead of doing it after work now, I'm doing it before work. So before, I still try to get up almost as early as I did. I've shifted my schedule probably by 2 hours in order to make sure that I'm getting enough sleep. That's another important aspect, is you always want to prioritize your sleep. But then I still get up. I plan to go to the gym, get my exercise in for the week, and then I still do the things that I originally planned to do. I try to make plans with friends. I try to meet up with other people. I set up activities to do, whether that's chores around the house, daily life stuff like maintaining your car. Try to still schedule those things out. Don't just let it be a lazy day until you go to work, because making sure that you still kind of have a routine and a schedule will really help to keep your mental state in a positive area, and it will help give you things to do and maintain a sense of energy while you're on this second shift work. So like I said, for me personally, that's involved going to the gym, still reading my books, prioritizing my learning, etc., etc. So I highly recommend sticking to those routines. So the third point that I want to talk about is it's all about balance. One of the hardest things about shift work is that you're on that opposite schedule. It's really difficult to schedule time with friends. It's really difficult to schedule time for things that you typically wouldn't, but it's all about balance. So, like I said earlier, try to maintain your routines, try to meet with the people that you care about, but also make sure that you don't get burnt out. A lot of people try to pack these times with as much stuff as they can so that way that they're getting as much time with their friends in the limited time that they have. But if you do that, and especially if you are going to be on this shift schedule for a longer period of time, you're going to find that you're going to burn yourself out pretty quickly. You're going to be exhausted. So just make sure that you're still also giving yourself time to recharge, whatever that looks like for you. And I mean, maybe for you that is spending time with friends. Everyone's different, but like for my fellow introverts, sometimes that's just giving yourself a day to be at home, relax, do whatever you want, read a book, watch a TV show, but make sure that you're not overwhelming yourself with stuff to do since you do have this extra time. I know that something that a lot of people that are on second shift with me too have been trying to do is, since they now don't have to be at work until after the normal day, is they're taking care of all of these things that they normally would have to schedule out, like getting an oil change for their car, going grocery shopping, taking their clothes to the dry cleaners, all during this normal time. But where they would have typically taken time to schedule that out, they've now made their days extremely busy just trying to fill the time. And as a result, they're starting to get tired, they're getting exhausted, and it's kind of impacting not just their personal health, but also their work. And that's kind of another thing you want to keep in mind with this is your work's important too. So don't overwhelm with yourself trying to have this perfect schedule of still being able to maintain life and everything. Make sure that you're getting the rest that you need, and that way you'll be able to have more fun on your interactions. You'll be able to focus on those interactions, and then you'll also be able to be more energized and recharged when you do go to work for that second shift. I know that today's video is a bit of a shorter one. It's just something that I've personally been going through recently, and I figured I would give some of my thoughts on it. Just in summary, like I said, try to prioritize the relationships that are important to you. Try to find those moments, even though you may be on opposite schedules, to have that time together, whether that's with your significant other, with your friends, family. All of that time's important, and if whatever relationships you prioritize, find those moments that you'll be able to go. For instance, like I said, I've been going to see my fiance for lunch for 30 minutes every once in a while. I'll see one of my college buddies for a day during the week since we haven't gotten to hang out as much. Find those moments, enjoy them. The second point, like I said, try to maintain your routine. That way it kind of keeps you in a positive mind state, keeps you in this spot of where you're still getting things done, you feel effective, you're still doing things that you enjoy and that recharge you. That's going to be really important to kind of maintaining an energy level and your mental health through this entire time. And then finally, like I said, don't overwhelm yourself. Approach it one day at a time. Approach it the same way that you would approach a normal work day. Don't overcommit yourself trying to fill this time until you have to go to work, because you'll exhaust yourself. Fill the time, but also give yourself time to recharge and just rest, because shift work is hard. It's difficult. No one is saying that it's an easy thing to do. So that's it. Those are the three main things that I wanted to talk about. It's a shorter video and it's a little more specific, but I think that it's an important thing to think about and to talk about, especially if you're ever going to be on second shift. There's a lot of jobs out there that do shift work, and a lot of jobs get involve a lot of hours once it starts getting into busy season, so this is applicable to those too. So those are just my thoughts on it and some of the things that you can do to kind of help mitigate doing shift work or working tons of extra hours. I hope that these tips were helpful for y'all. If you agree or disagree, please Leave a comment down below. Comment what you feel helps you if you are doing second shift work. Of course, I'll have my most recent video posted here. And until then, this is the Mengineer signing off.